If I were to talk to myself 6 years ago, I would tell little Steven, who's newer in business, do not buy anything until you have a really good contracted
I thought you were just going to
network.
put a period there.
Do not buy anything. Do not buy anything. Do not buy it. Do not buy it.
That is what I've learned.
Yeah. Do not buy anything until you have repeatable, consistent revenue and you are successful. Like you can contract out really well. Like don't buy it. Like use as much restraint as possible. And in our old shop, when we were in like 3,000 square feet and we barely had any room, we had to contract out a lot. And when we were in the new shop, we're like, oh yeah, we'll just get that. Let's just do it. Yeah, get a banner printer. Let's go, because we had all this space. And I think what you don't learn about is the hidden cost of diversification. So like
there's got to be a lot of like just cognitive load of thinking about everything. I mean,
like,
what is underneath that people don't think about? Correct. Because you just see the price tag and you figure, all right, I got to find someone, but
Yeah, let's take an embroidery machine because we're not gonna say DTF yet. You want to offer embroidery. You've done a couple $100,000. You're starting to do 10, 15 grand a month of embroidery. It's consistent, right? There's something there. Okay, you go to the trade show. An embroidery machine is what? 60, 70 grand, 50 grand? I don't know. Let's just call that a payment that you're going to have to make, a car payment. It's going to be $1,000 a month, right? Do you have enough money to pay $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, right? Do you have enough business, consistent, repeatable business to cash flow that machine? What else are we missing now? Keep adding stuff. So we got $1,000 a month just in the machine.
Which I think people have already calculated that. Yeah, that's easy.
Oh, I can do that. Yeah. All right. Next step. What's next?
I think it's people. I think we underestimate the difficulty in running a new machine, and then also in having someone else run it. So. That's a specialized skill to be able to find someone that, will either learn how to do it or knows how to do it, and then will stick around and be able to.
Sure. So how many employees how many sewers do you need? You need someone hooping and someone cutting backing, right? And someone sewing. I bet you have 1.5 employees per embroidery machine. Call it $60,000 to $70,000 a year just in labor on a machine. Maybe I'm being high here. So call that $5,000 a month. Okay. So really what this embroidery machine costs, it costs $6,000 a month to run. Okay. What else?
I think the next one is an umbrella of cognitive load, like everything mentally considering it. So for example, you have to find that person. You need to train that person. You need to manage that person. That person calls off. Now what? That person quits. Now what?
Is there a cost associated to that? Like, would you take a percentage of your salary?
In theory, you could, right? I mean, you could say an hourly part, but I think more than the cost of the hourly is
just the mental bandwidth.
Of like, like it's another item that takes up your brain that's already overflowing.
So it's going to cost you $1,000 a month to manage this, right? So now we're up to, we said, $5,000 a month in labor, $1,000, and we're up to $7,000. Okay. We also need to get supplies. We need backing. We need thread. We need hoops. We're not going to get the shitty hoops. We're going to get the magnetic hoops, right? There's probably $400 or $500 a month in just stuff, right? What about digitizing? Now I need to find a digitizer because I'm not listening to Steven and Bruce on the podcast, and I'm using offshore people that DM me, right? And I'm going to be trying to find someone to digitize for me, right? I got to be messaging with them back and forth. I got, my numbers now getting blown up by every other person in India.
They told their whole family, and now your Facebook inbox is destroyed.
Yes. You do digitizing or you do embroidery. Okay. Another $1,000, someone to manage the art, to do the sew outs, right? I bet you running one machine is $10,000 a month in just these hidden everything. right? And if you say to yourself, well, I'm just going to do the embroidery, then you're selling yourself short, right? Because then you're just giving your hour a dollar mark. Now you're worth $20 an hour when you're sewing or something like that. So
8 to 10,000 is almost shocking because we started at about 1,000-ish for a payment.
if you're a 50% margin company, let's just say 50%, you have to make this a profitable business segment. You need to be bringing in $300,000 a year of embroidery to make it a profitable business segment. Because what you can actually do is you can eat away at the good profit that your business makes by diversifying, because there's going to be this climb to get to this number. Well, to be able to sell to $300,000, you also need an employee that can handle selling embroidery, right?
You think you need 300?
Yeah, I don't know, 250, 300, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Could you do it with one if you did it by yourself? Yeah, could you do
your
it
costs
for
are $120 a year.
Right. And so these buried costs and then the machine has to get serviced once a year, right? Things are going to go out, right? You're going to mess up a couple jobs. And so the cost of diversifying a business, there are all of these hidden costs that people don't realize, and it takes them years to climb out of it. When what they could have done is hired one employee to get really good at contracting out.
You're saying selling and one, is it one selling and one managing the flow, or, I guess I can spread out all over.
I mean, some of the best shops that have great salespeople sub out their own work for them. They know their contractors, and they just, I'll just send it here. So I think what I'm getting at,
crazy.
Isn't that nuts? Right. And so if you are thinking about diversifying your business, you need to have a very sound plan for what the hidden costs are, and a very sound plan for how you're going to cover those costs over a certain period of time. And sometimes people are like, well, I'm investing in the future. It's like, you might just be investing in a headache. Right. And so I challenge shops that if you are really good at screen printing, become even better at screen printing, invest in your darkroom, right? Get really, really good at, exposing screens as fast as possible and optimizing there, and sub everything else out, right? Same thing happened with a banner machine. We wanted to get into signs and banners. We bought a VG540 Roland. We sub every sign and banner out now. That was a $20,000 oops. We still have it, and it's used for favors and stupid gag gifts that we need to make. Right. But the question that I would have is, would we have ever gotten into signs and banners if we didn't buy that machine? Probably not. Once we bought the machine, then we started selling it a little bit more. I wish we would have reverse thought about that one.